To politics now, a new reaction from some 2016 Republican hopefuls to the two big Supreme Court decisions this week. Here's Senator Ted Cruz on Friday's same-sex marriage ruling.
Today's decision was a travesty. It was not constitutional. It was 5 unelected lawyers imposing their own radical views on this nation. What we saw today was 5 unelected judges setting aside the Constitution and saying the preferences of over 300 million Americans don't matter.
Joining me now, Larry Sabato, director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics. It's good to see you, my friend. And the big question here, of course, that Senator Ted Cruz. Here's what Bobby Jindal tweeted. Marriage between a man and a woman was established by God, and no earthly court can alter that. What do you make of these reactions?
They're digging themselves a big hole, Alex, and I understand why they're doing it. The Republican electorate is at least 2/3 opposed to same-sex marriage. And among the activists who turn up in places like Iowa, it's probably more like 80 or 90%. So they have to do this to get the nomination, although they don't have to go as far as Jindal and Cruz did. It's when one of them gets to the general election that they're going to have a terrible dilemma, because while only 1/3 of Republicans favor same-sex marriage, among Democrats it's 3/4, and among independents it's more than 2/3. And that includes those swing independents who in the end may well determine the result of the election. How do they pirouette? Do they just try and not talk about it? Do they change their views, which I think is impossible in this day and time? So this is a major dilemma for the eventual Republican nominee. Just to add one thing, Alex, notice they're proposing different things. You know, Jeb Bush's statement was amusing. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere on this subject because he's trying to give himself an out if he's the nominee. You've got Scott Walker, though, proposing a constitutional amendment to ban same-sex marriage. Just so people know, and I'm sure most people do, there is not just zero chance of such a constitutional amendment ever passing, it's absolute zero. Okay. No chance at all. So it's a dodge. That's all it is.
Now, I want to ask you about Jeb Bush in particular, because based on what you've just said, that pivot that a lot of these Republican candidates have to go through when you're playing to the primary voters and then you realize you've got to play to the general election voters. Here's what Jeb Bush said, so if anyone didn't hear that. Guided by my faith, I believe in traditional marriage. I believe the Supreme Court should have allowed the states to make this decision. I also believe that we should love our neighbor and respect others, including those making lifetime commitments. In a country as diverse as ours, good people who have opposing views should be able to live side by side. It is now crucial that as a country we protect religious freedom and the right of conscience and also not discriminate. So he has left himself, you know, wiggle room, if you will. Isn't that a good tactic in some ways if he's thinking long term?
It could be. Depends on what the eventual Democratic nominee does with it. I could also see TV ads of Jeb Bush debating Jeb Bush. You know, he was against gay marriage before he was for it. Or I could see ads with Jeb Bush debating George Bush. Remember, George Bush won his re-election in 2004 in part by supporting constitutional amendments in key states like Ohio to ban same-sex marriage. So just think what the campaigners and the TV consultants are going to do with this. Can
Republicans win over middle-of-the-road voters with an anti-same-sex marriage stance in this day and age in 2016?
Well, that's an easy question. The answer is no. I hope there's a follow-up.
Okay. I was going to switch to Obamacare, but I'm going to ask you, what do you do then? I mean, if the answer is no, again, looking at the primaries, yes, you have to get through them to get to the general. But I mean, be a political strategist for a Republican at this point. What do you do?
What you do is you don't talk about it. You try not to respond to the inevitable attacks coming from the Democratic side. The Democrats would be crazy not to use that as an issue in the general election. I'm sure they will. Who's one of Hillary Clinton's best friends, assuming she's the nominee? You know, I'm not saying for sure, but it looks that way. Her best friend, or one of her best friends, Governor Terry McAuliffe of Virginia. He got elected almost entirely on the social issues like gay marriage. marriage. He was the first Southern governor, or first gubernatorial candidate from the South to come out in favor of gay marriage, and used it effectively in the 2013 campaign.
Lots to wait and see about. We'll have you back many times before that election, Larry Sabato. Thanks so much.